but the increase in 2025 has been dramatic. There have been over 60 recorded attacks, and it's just increasing. And we're seeing, everything from fingers cut off to, kidnappings.
Welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is John Bridge. He's the Executive Vice President with Trust Stamp. And John, it's good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you again as well.
Yeah, so interesting news out from the company today talking about your sort of turnkey solutions for something known as wrench attacks and home invasions. And maybe we can sort of talk about there. There's been a lot of details about ones that have happened recently, and maybe you can sort of explain what they are so people understand.
Sure, wrench attacks or $5 wrench attacks are just physical attacks. So in the past, we've seen cryptocurrency uh, through online attacks, various vectors, phishing or ransomware type of attacks. What we're seeing an increase of this year are wrench attacks or physical attacks where people are being kidnapped, violence is being applied to them, and it's really dangerous, particularly for high profile crypto holders, but really anyone in general. So we're looking at ways to address this increase in violence.
So, John, you bring up one example of a person in San Francisco who was robbed of $11 million, in fact, in a home invasion. So maybe you could talk to us a bit about how your wallet works and how that can sort of put some defense against that.
Yeah, that's a great point. We've seen some really massive losses, but there's some smaller losses too where violence has been applied. And what our wallet does is it ties that wallet to an individual, what we might call a soul-bound wallet. And so even if I'm forced at gunpoint to transfer something to another person, for that person to be able to utilize it, they would have to reveal their own identity. They would have to capture a biometric, which would then allow law enforcement to identify who the suspects are in an attack.
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot more of uptick in this? And are people looking at this type of technology? I know you talk to a lot of law enforcement and people like that. They've been sort of looking for something like this in order to help combat this because it is quite widespread and it's all around the world.
I'm sure that people are looking for answers. We're being proactive, so I haven't heard anyone actually asking for solutions here. So we're getting ahead of the curve, hopefully. But the increase in 2025 has been dramatic. There have been over 60 recorded attacks, and it's just increasing. And we're seeing, everything from fingers cut off to, kidnappings.
Yeah. When you talk about being proactive, do you almost feel like you have to sort of take a step ahead of the game all the time in order to keep pace? Because these crews are highly organized, they're highly funded. They're, talking about what we saw earlier, $11 million. That puts a lot of money into the ability to be able to increase your network and steal more.
Yeah, the proactive approach is to really secure the funds so that they can't be transferred and utilized. There are other things people can do. Obviously, OPSEC is really important. So people with a high public profile should consider things like data scrubbing from the data aggregators, delisting or using anonymous or even trusts for tax records. So there are other things that can be done outside of just the wallet. The wallet protects the actual assets, whereas OPSEC is an important aspect of this on the front end as well.
And last question on this, John, is we've talked a lot in the past about protecting businesses and things like that, but is that what is unique about Trust Stamp is the ability to not only protect the business but also protect consumers as well and their funds?
Absolutely, yes. This type of technology can protect organizational assets as well as individual.
John, thank you so much. Really good information to people to understand and to know. And as we're still sort of developing this world of cryptocurrency and all this movement of funds. So appreciate your time and thanks very much for the update.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you as well.
All right, there's John Bridge, the Executive Vice President of Trust Stamp.